Well, thousands of public sector workers in Victoria set to be axed as details of the May state budget are leaked. According to the Herald Sun this morning, all government departments have been told to cut 10% of ongoing staff. Joining us live, the Secretary of the Community and Public Sector Union, Batt. Karen, good to see you. So just to elaborate on that number, how many jobs are at risk here?
Well, if it's 10% of the public service, it's between 5,000 and 6,000 people will lose their jobs.
That's a mass layoff.
It's the biggest layoff in 10 years. The last time something like this happened, it was the Batt government, and the government only lasted one term.
So is that what you expect would happen here? I mean, we're away off the next election, but what sort of a blowback do you think this would have if it comes through? The government hasn't confirmed it just yet, by the way.
Well, it's the equivalent of political suicide in our view. You cannot have this sort of cut not have an impact on jobs and services across the state. We've already got significant vacancies following COVID, 500 vacancies in child protection. We can't run the state's prisons properly because we don't have enough staff to fill the rosters, 550 vacancies in the Department of Education, and yet they want to cut more and more. It will have a direct impact on services. And if they continue to use the insulting line, if they continue to use the insulting line that no frontline services will be affected, it's just simply grist to the mill. The public service has had enough of this sort of attack.
So so where do you suspect, that's what I was going to ask you, the cuts to be made? I mean, is it across the board here?
We believe it to be across the board in the core public service, which is about 55,000 people. The numbers have increased over the years to deal with the growing population. Victoria's population has grown by 1.5 million in the last 5 years. You need services to be delivered by people working for government. And that's the reality. And the government pretending that they can isolate certain programs or certain occupations from the impact of these cuts is nonsense.
Okay, well, just a little over $14 billion in extra funding has gone into public sector workers. Public servants have increased by 54% since 2015. Did something not have to give here?
I think that the government has become overly attached to the big build. We are being price gouged by the major construction companies in civil construction work that's going on. We have a population boom and we need people to deliver the services. You cannot expect to have a pandemic go through the state, employ more and more nurses, more and more ambulance people, but the people that pay them, the people that procure their occupations, their locations where they work, they are all public servants. So this is a major impost on the delivery of services for the state.
But those numbers, those increases, they're just not sustainable, are they?
They are sustainable if they're done in a particular way. They can be worked through in a far more compassionate way. We've had early retirements running for the last 18 months, and that has been done in a very, very controlled way. So what we have is a situation where an arbitrary figure of 10% is being laid down as law by Treasury. The departments are telling us they cannot meet their service delivery targets now, and cuts of any further of this size will see the government collapse.
Okay, Batt, we are out of time. We'll keep it brief, but we'll get more reaction on that soon. Thanks for your time. We'll talk to you soon.